Hello, this is Alex from Trainer Day. I've got a spreadsheet I've created here that helps me create a build plan and make sure it's safe or it's growing at a reasonable level. Um, I basically started with minutes per week, and I build them 3 weeks building, 1 rest week, 3 weeks building, 1 rest week, 3 weeks building, so on and so forth. Each new, let's say, month or each new build period, I start this one off a little bit higher than the second one here, so lower than here for sure, and closer to this middle of the previous, and build up. And I've verified these. And I've taken that into Training Peaks and verified these increases. This is based on TSS. If you don't know what TSS is, you got to read about it for a while. But I've taken this into Training Peaks and I've verified. What I did is I created a situation where I basically have a 3 TSB, which means you're slightly positive, but it means you've also been training and you're not completely rested. You're just kind of at a neutral standpoint, let's say. Um, I did that by actually sticking in 1,000 TSS points and then letting it drop back down. So what I've also done here is I've made sure that my CTL is at 19. So that's why I put that 1,000 up there also, is because 19 ultimately means that I'm doing 20 TSS or 19 TSS per day times 7 is about 140 TSS per week. And so that means I'm basically ready to start a build plan that's 140 TSS per week or 120 TSS per week. So I can see that I'm starting at a negative or at a positive 3 TSB. Then I just put in a weekly total here, and I say for the week, let's just say I started at 140. By the end of the week, I would be at minus 13 or roughly minus 13 because if daily is slightly different than a weekly total. And the same one here, I put in a 168 and I'm still at minus 13. Then I put in a 200 and I'm at minus 16. And so generally, I'm just saying that I've used Training Peaks to verify my numbers and make sure that they look reasonable or, even on the safe side, as compared to what most athletes can handle. And, if you've got a lot of training history, that's very different than if you're a beginner. You really have to either have a coach or find your own balance of what that means and read a lot. But I'm just going into how I basically came up with these numbers. So Training Peaks also has something in the premium edition called an annual training plan, and I'll just show you what that looks like here. This one. They have the same thing. This is a 3-1 pattern, 3 up, 1 down, 3 up, 1 down. Now they're keeping theirs. This is not a build pattern. This is actually pretty flat, meaning they're not growing each week. So once I have this pattern, then I need to find the individual workouts that actually make up that pattern so that I end up at that total weekly TSS. And so I've created 3 different types of workouts. One's called an SFR, which is I don't know how to pronounce it in Italian, but it's Italian. It's strength training. It's low RPM, and then a sweet spot or threshold, and a long ride and then an extra ride. So generally it's 3 workouts a week. And each one of these builds, this is from 30 TSS, 40 TSS. Then I got a recovery. Here's my recovery week and a 40, 60, and then I'm going 60. So this is slowly kind of going up. And the sweet spot is slowly going up. And the long ride is, let's say, slowly going up. So each of them is slowly going up, and I did introduce a couple of extras because I didn't want to make the other rides too much longer, and so I introduced a couple of days with some extras so that I kind of hit a maximum of close to 2 hours for maybe 2 hours and 15 minutes or something. We'll see how it turns out. So then I take this and I say, okay, now I need to create these workouts. I need to create SFR with 30 TSS points, with 40 TSS points, with 60. So So I create 4 different SFRs, 4 different sweet spots, 4 different long workouts, and then my recoveries. I've got actually 4 different, I've got a 30, a 50, an 80, and a 100. So also 4 different recoveries. So once I've created those 16 different workouts, then I just drag them onto my plan. So if I go into my library, I've actually already started this. Let's look at my SFR. Here's the SFR 30 I've created. I'll go into edit. So it's just got a 45% warm up for 10 minutes, then a 55% for 10 minutes, and then we go into a 68%, 4 reps at 68% at this, very low cadence, and with a 1 minute 45% rest that's at normal cadence. And then I cool down. I cool down slightly easier because this is a zone 2, even I would say a low zone 2 or fairly low zone 2 workout. Even though the low cadence is some intensity, I would say that your cool down could be slightly shorter than, it doesn't need to be a full 20 minutes. But again, if you've got an extra 5 minutes, you could make it an hour, and you're not going to hurt anything by, it's would be probably always recommended to do longer warm-ups and cool downs if you've got the time. Anyway, but I'm targeting 30 stress, and so it's okay. Maybe I'll change this. Actually, I like that better. I would actually go to 65% there. That's actually better. It's 1 hour. And then we'll go ahead and save that. So I've got a SFR 30. I'll save it. I would actually take my description and place it in here. I would take that one. I would actually take these 3. I'm going to improve this, but I would say 45 to 55. This is kind of for outdoors. If you're going outdoors, you would just do a 20 minutes from 40 to 55. Cool down would be from 55 to 45. So this is a good outdoor description if you're writing outdoors. Okay, so there I've got my outdoor description. And now when I want to create my next one, I just come in real quick and I just go to copy workout, and I would just increase it a bit. And so that might be, might keep everything the same, but do 5 reps, maybe make this 5 minutes, 5 reps, and maybe we'll do 70% this time. 5 reps and 70%. We're still at, let's see here. Oh, maybe we'll do, that's okay. We could do our rest percentage at 50. We're now at 35. That's probably good. So I'm basically just creating a progression and you can't see the bottom down here. I'm just creating a progression that I've got 1 extra rep. I've got 5% extra in my FTP. Still a very, let's say, reasonable stress level. So each time, each week, I just want to, increase this, increase everything a little bit, not too much, but I ultimately trying to get my target up to 40. So I probably want to go 10 minutes at 55. There's an hour and 5 minutes. And let's see, what's another good one to do? I probably could do 60% here. I probably could do a 60% and a 60%. It probably doesn't. That's 39. I might could go 71. There we go. 71. Oops, 71. And there, now I hit my target goal of 40. And let's make sure I wrote this description before. SFR 65. This should be an SFR, because I cloned it, so I got to take SFR 71% and 5 of them. And warm up and cool down goes up to 60%. And from 60%. Okay, so now I've got my second workout. And so I just keep doing that. And I named it wrong. I got to edit it. I got to take that and call that a SFR 40. I'm going to call it 0.1 because I have another 40. I'll delete the other one. And then I just take that workout and I will add it to my SFR workouts. And then if I go into SFR, I can see I've got a 40.1 and a 30. I could delete this old 40, but I'll review. So anyway, I go through that pattern, and I just created 2 of these workouts. I've got 2 more to create, and then I've got 4 here, and 4 recovery workouts to create. Once I create them all, I just go in and I create a new plan. Go to my plans, click create a new plan. I actually already have my plan that I started, which is this one, and I take my SFR 30, my SFR 40. And I come over here to SFR and I just find those. So there's my SFR 40.1. So let's just say I wanted, instead of the 40 I created before, I want the 40.1. Whoops, that's not the right workout. 40.1. So I just drag them on. So I go through all my SFRs first, drag them all on here. I'd make sure and get my recovery week each week and leave it blank. So let's just come into another. I don't know if this is probably not right, but anyway, let's just come in and we'll do here. So I leave my recovery week blank, and I'll come back and do all my recovery kind of workouts in the last thing. So I go through that for each let's say type of training. So my Tuesdays is my SFR, my Wednesdays I would come into my thresholds, my sweet spots, and I would take a sweet spot. I call them differently. I was doing this before, but now there's a sweet spot. It's 50 minutes, but this one I'm going to change the name. It's called Sweet Spot 1. I'm going to change the names to Sweet Spot 30 or whatever they are. So I would just go through all my thresholds now, drag them all on here. Same on my Saturdays, I would go into my long runs and grab all my long runs. So I have there's a 96-minute. I actually should have some shorter ones. Where's shorter? Well, I guess that's the shortest right now. But anyway, this is a new plan. So anyway, I would just grab all my long runs and drag them in here. And then when I'm done, I just click and make it public. So that's it. Thanks.